I would like quickly give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Saurav. I have almost 7+ years of experience across product companies. Presently, I'm working as a product manager with Foundit. Prior to that, I was working with Ola Electric for nearly 2 years. And during my stint with Ola Electric, that point of time, the purchases and all, Ola Electric sells these electric scooters and all. It was our team which was responsible for creating that online purchase journey, creating that entire user experience, and then all the associated modules, product software modules which were associated with it. For example, the test ride module, the fulfillment module, the discounting module, the payments and everything. I was specifically owning the test ride module over there in Ola Electric. Prior to that, I was working with Deloitte Digital. I had implemented 2 projects over there, primarily as an IT consultant. And Ola was like one of my first big product breaks as a product company, but my role was very similar to that of a product manager or an APM at Deloitte Digital. Meanwhile, when I switched companies, I have had the opportunity of appearing interviews for multiple product companies, which I've also listed down on my LinkedIn channel and also on the invites and all. I had almost cleared interviews of Ola Electric, Cars24, then Foundit. Then there was a company RevOS, then Lenskart, and all these companies I might not have joined. I might not have honored the offer because of certain reasons, but I have cleared those interviews. And then I had also been rejected in a bunch of interviews. To be very honest, it's not like I've always this interview में बैठ गया मैं clear कर दिया, वैसा कुछ नहीं था. So I have been rejected in a bunch of interviews, and the companies were like Uber, Atlassian, Booking.com, and all these companies. And I was essentially selected to sign up on Zuno, this platform which we have built. I'm essentially a product manager of this platform on Zuno, and I'm also parallelly working on certain core modules. Like you see, Founded as a company is monster.com, which has been there in the recruitment space from almost like from 24 years. But they have launched a new early age recruitment platform, which is Juno, where they are publishing opportunities for freshers and undergraduates. And when I say opportunities, it can be jobs, but also we have a bunch of internships in the tunes of thousands of internships, which are all verified and paid. So one of the reasons why we do this program every week, we have a lot of webinars and all these things, because we want to outreach to hundreds of candidates across the country, across the length and breadth of the country, across different campuses which touch them, and we give them a value added thing in terms of this particular this session, but also we give them make them understand the importance of Juno, and they would further spill it down, they would further narrow it down, navigate this particular information to their campuses, and inform that there are a lot of verified and paid opportunities on platforms like Juno, where you all should sign up and explore the opportunities. So how many rounds are there in an ideal product interview? For example, when I sat for Ola, or when I sat for Cars24, or when I sat for a Thoucentric, or even when I sat for Foundit now, for that matter, in all these companies, I have found a specific pattern of interview going on, or a specific number of interview rounds going on. And what are those? First hota hai, there will be a round one, which will be a product one interview, which will be usually taken by a PM or a SPM. Like presently, I also take a lot of interviews of PMs and SPMs who want to get into Foundit. Okay. So there will be a question of 1 to 5. इस पे आपको डरना नहीं है. 1 to 5 मैं आपको समझाऊंगा क्या क्वेश्चन के कैटेगरीज हैं. And the rejection possibility is very high, because when we take the interviews at round 1, we have been clearly told, if you are not happy, directly reject the candidate. Don't even think twice. कि यार मतलब always come up with a Boolean answer. What is a Boolean thing? Either 1 or 0. Don't come up saying that he is a good candidate, he might do well and all. We just go ahead and say, if at all you are selected or rejected, that is what the owner switch is given to us. Then there definitely will be a second product round interview, because the first PM might be wrong in their judgment, where usually the panelists are at a SPM level or an associate director PM level. And again, the questions will be of specific type, which I will explain you, which is there on the top. And then the rejection possibility is again very high in this situation also. Okay. Then once you clear these 2 rounds of interview, then what happens is the third round will be a technical and behavioral round of interview. In this specific round, you will have to sit with the engineering manager or a director or a architect level person of the company who is specifically from an engineering background. Because see, when we say product management, it's not marketing product management, it's software product management or digital product management. So if you want to be a PM over here in this particular domain, you will have to have a certain basic threshold of technical knowledge. I'm not saying that you have to be a coder. I'm not saying that you have to be a database expert. I'm not saying you have to be a data analytics expert, but you definitely need to have a certain certain threshold level of technical knowledge to become a product manager. Is you simply cannot say that nahi, product management is all about UI UX and understanding of features and all. I use a lot of apps and hence I can build it. No, you will have to have certain understanding of database, you will have to have certain understanding of APIs, you will have to have basic understanding of cloud, everything very basic. It will be like a jack of all trade. You don't want to master a specific trade, but you definitely need to touch base on all these things, specifically these items which I talked about. What is a database, what is an API, what is a webhook, and how all, what is a front end, what is a back end, what is a client, what is a server, how does client server interaction works. All these sorts of basic questions, you have to be very clear to the core. In your heart you have to say that I can very well understand these concepts. I might not know how to write a database, I might not know how to create a DBMS relationship or a database structure and all these things, but database में कितने fields होते हैं. For example, if I show you, let me give you a quick example. If I show you, there is some issue. Wait a second. If at all I have to, let me show you something else. If tomorrow I am over here on the foundit ka page and I log out, is my internet breaking? Hello?
No, your internet is not breaking.
Okay, fine. Okay. So let me just show you a small example. Am I sharing my screen? Yes, let me share it again. Okay, this page is breaking itself. So the example which I wanted to tell you was very simple, that if at all you are sitting for this third round of interview, you need to have a certain certain specific technical aptitude so that you're able to clear it. But the rejection possibility over here, to be very frank, is medium, because the person who is taking your interview, he knows very well that you are not a tech guy, and you also know very well that you are not a tech guy. So don't expect you will be asked coding questions or some specific algorithms or something which you have to solve, and hence you will be rejected. This will just test that are you well versed enough that you can handle a dev team or not. Okay, now the next round, which is ideally there, is with a VP or a director level round, where a VP or director of product comes to take your interview, and he essentially checks your culture fit and asks you maybe a product strategy question. So product strategy are one of the most difficult types of questions to answer. For example, the questions can range from like, should Uber relaunch Uber Eats in India? It's a very difficult question. How someone sitting on an interview, just बीटेक खत्म हुआ है या ग्रेजुएशन खत्म हुआ है या फिर आप कहीं नौकरी कर रहे हैं, फर्स्ट जॉब, 2 साल एक्सपीरियंस, you got an product interview opportunity, आपको पूछेंगे कि should Uber, which is operating in 90 odd countries, should it relaunch in India Uber Eats again? आपको पता है कि एक बार Uber Eats उन्होंने launch किया, it was there for 3 to 4 years, it didn't work out and hence they shut down it. Now after 5 years, should they relaunch it? Should Netflix get into gaming industry? Should Google launch an OTT platform? Should Ola get into electric vehicle manufacturing industry? they will ask you such questions which are at a very high level strategy questions, product strategy questions, which you will have to break it down into smaller chunks and answer. If you get what I have had a mix of both. Okay, I've also cleared for that matter. I do have the offer letter of Byju's also. So in Baiju, I remembered Baiju specifically because Baiju was one such company where in the VP level round I was asked a product strategy question. But I have been very fortunate enough that more or less I have been asked culture related questions that which are very simple, like what are your hobbies or what are something very simple HR type question which were asked, and hence it was easy for me. But in certain specific companies I've also been asked product strategy question. Specifically in Byju's I have been asked this, in Uber I have been asked this, where a product strategy question was thrown to me. So hence the rejection possibility I will say is between very high to medium to low. Okay, it's not that it's अगर आपको सिर्फ कल्चर फिट पूछ लिया तो आप तो फिर लो होगा, और आपको प्रोडक्ट स्ट्रैटेजी पूछ लिया तो डेफिनेटली इट विल बी वेरी हाई. ठीक है. Now the last round of interview will definitely be an HR interview where he will ask you that we are a very I'll give you an example of Ola. They asked me, we are a very fast startup, we work 15 hours a day, blah blah blah, are you ready to work? तो आप थोड़ी ना बोलोगे you want your job in Ola, you want that PM Ola tag, you have been working for a product management role for the past 8 months or 10 months or 12 months. अभी आपको कोई HR अगर पूछेगा we are a very fast startup, we work very fast and we do all these things, we have to work 15 hours a day, तो आप थोड़ी ना मना कर दोगे no I won't work 15 hours a day, I will work only 5 hours a day. You will definitely answer yes only. So I don't feel that someone who is preparing for a product management round interview and those who have cleared these 4 levels of interview, they will find it a difficult to clear an HR interview. ठीक है. So particularly my TG or my aspirants who are sitting in this call, who are giving this much time for preparation of product interviews, I don't see them getting rejected over here, and hence the rejection possibility is no too low. ठीक है. आप expect कर सकते हो कुछ कुछ कंपनीज में round 3 नहीं होगा. For example, in Foundit, where I am presently working also, I didn't have a technical round for that matter. But also in Uber, I didn't have a technical round, but I had a technical round in Ola, I had a technical round in Cars24, I had a technical round in Howcentric. So you cannot say that this round will happen or not happen, it is not sure. तो ये round 2 भी Byju में मेरा it didn't happen. For that matter, in round 2 Byju didn't happen. I had a round 1, then a technical round, and then VP round. Okay, only 3 rounds were there. But more or less from my experience of 10 odd companies where I have cleared 6 odd interviews and I have been rejected in 3 to 4 odd interviews, I can say more or less this is the construct of the interviews which are happening in the product companies which hire in Indian colleges or off campuses or lot many things. ठीक है. Where after switch करना है या पहली बार घुसना है in any specific level, be it a APM level or be it a product analyst level, this is the construct of the interview or the skeleton of the interview. That is how it will happen. Is this clear till now? Say a yes or a no in the chat section. Guys, we have a decent enough audience. You have to use your keyboard and have to answer whether this was clear or not. कि ये जो skeleton of the interviews है, you will have to tell me कि हाँ you got a clarity. At least ये session खत्म होने के बाद I have a very lengthy list of topics which I want to discuss. देखते हैं कितने cover कर पाएंगे, कितने नहीं कर पाएंगे. That is a secondary thing, but I want you people to at least इतना ये session से लेके जाओ कि यार ये product management क्यों मुश्किल हो रहा है. आपको पता चल रहा है ये क्यों मुश्किल हो रहा है. यार आप 5 राउंड इंटरव्यू रख रहे हो, 5वें को गोली मारो, जस्ट किल this round. This is not important. ठीक है. Even if you don't do that, you have a rejection possibility in 4 rounds, and the people who are taking these interviews are not entry level employees. For example, if at all some of you are in campuses and have joined the call, आप जब TCS वगैरह के इंटरव्यू में बैठते हो, my first job was in TCS. I will not say that कोई खराब जॉब है, कोई अच्छा जॉब है. Every job is a very good job. But what I will say is the person who is taking your interview is hardly 3 years or 2 years of experience in the company, and they take your round. So and also the questions which are being asked are very simple. We didn't talk about the column 2 at column 3 at all. Now when we go to the question types and the subtypes, आप लोगों को समझ में आएगा कि यार ये कितना मुश्किल क्यों है, why इतना हवा क्यों बना हुआ है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में. द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट और द मतलब लाइफ में कौन सी चीज हमको अचीव करने के लिए मजा होता है बताइए. लाइक ये प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट गोली मारिए. एनीवन कैन हाँ I'll tell you Jia, but first of all you answer me, what is that everyone wants to achieve in life. यार जो चीज अगर मतलब ऐसा कोई सपना है जो सुबह उठते ही वो सपना पूरा हो जाए, तो वो सपना ही क्या है? सपने तो वही होते हैं ना जो मतलब बंद आंखों में नहीं, मतलब आंखें बंद करने नहीं देती हैं. ड्रीम्स आर दोज व्हिच यू डोंट सी इन क्लोज्ड आईज बट आर दोज व्हिच डोंट अलाउ यू टू क्लोज योर आईज. करेक्ट. ये प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट इज so much fascinating. I'd say one aspect is after you get into the role, the amount of responsibility, the amount of interaction with the CXOs, and the amount of that happiness you get on a Friday night. कि मैंने feature बनाया and thousands of users are getting impacted by it. When my test ride module on Ola Electric became live, I was so happy कि यार Ola Electric एक scooter था जो online scooter बेच रहा है. They didn't have any method where a customer who wants to buy a 1.5 lakh rupees का scooter, they didn't have any method, they didn't have any dealership, they didn't have any experience center at that point of time. बंदों लोगों को इच्छा था कि scooter खरीदना है, पर उनको स्कूटर टच एंड फील में पता ही नहीं चलता था कैसा स्कूटर है. बस टीवी में ऐड देख रहे हैं, यूट्यूब में ऐड देख रहे हैं और कुछ लिंक्डइन में ज्ञान देख रहे हैं, बट दे डोंट नो कि ये स्कूटर एक्चुअली कैसा है. And I actually worked with the engineers and created a module where people could sit at their home and can order test ride, order book a test ride at their home, and someone from Ola goes to their place and give them a test ride and come back, and we are able to convert them as customers from a free test ride to we convince them to make a 1.5 lakhs rupees of payment. And I was the product manager handling it when that went live. And when we scaled it up to more than 50 cities and 6,000 to 7,000 test rides were booked on a daily basis, it was so much fun. That is the second part of the product manager's life that was so satisfying to me. But the first aspect was this: कि interview itself is so tough that you will start preparing for it and you will feel like यार मुझे करना ही है. क्योंकि अगर कोई एक simple, I am not saying a TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Cogni का job खराब है, but interviews are not that tough. If at all you are from a specific campus, they are coming to your campus and hiring 70% or 80% of the folks from the campus itself. तो आपको बस अगर आपके पेपर्स में बैक नहीं लगे हैं या कुछ नहीं है, आप एलिजिबल क्राइटेरिया में बैठे, थोड़ा बहुत कोडिंग सीख लिए, यू कैन इजीली मेक इट थ्रू. ठीक है. द पैटर्न्स आर वेरी सिमिलर. दे हैव बीन हायरिंग इन दिस कैंपसेस फ्रॉम 20-30 years, I guess. They are ऐसे नहीं कि अभी आया है, but these companies they have emerged into the scene in the last 5-6 years. कौन सा ओला, कौन सा उबर, कौन सा फ्लिपकार्ट था 2015 के पहले? बताइए, कुछ नहीं था. In this matter of 7 to 8 years, these have bubbled up into the scene and they are creating such amazing products, such wonderful products that they are transitioning the entire landscape, entire way we live our day. ठीक है. You open your phone, you spend 7 to 8 hours on your phone and you use these apps built by these product managers, and hence the role is so fascinating and hence the interviews are so tough. Okay, and that is one of the reasons you want to do it. So Gia had a question. Can you ask the second round? Kuch nahi. Second round is very similar to the first round, just that the panelists, like I take product one or round one interviews of lot of PMs and APMs who want to join Foundit. But the product round two is usually taken by an SPM, someone who is even more senior to me, or someone at an associate director level who is even senior to that of a PM. They will come over there and they take the interview. Okay? That is what is the only difference. So you can expect the questions to be of a bit higher level of complexity, or the level of maturity they will expect is a bit more. For the matter of everyone to understand, I'll just write a quick point. I should have rather put that in my deck also. Hierarchy of product management. I should have given this also. आपको ये SPM, PM ये सब अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा, तो मैं ये समझाता हूँ. When you ideally join a company, you will join as a product analyst or APM. That depends. कौन सा company कौन सा role देता है. Usually from IITs, NITs और कोई भी colleges जो हैं इंडिया में, usually from graduation colleges, they hire at a product analyst level from a grad college level. And if they are hiring from an MBA college, they will hire at an APM level. Okay? From an MBA or a post PG college, they will hire at an APM level. Ideally, that is what मतलब hire from that level. या education qualifications कितने हैं अगर, what I'm trying to say. But these are interchangeable. I have seen lot of people joining at what do you say, directly at APM level only. There is no such boundary कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए सौरभ करके. Then the next role in the hierarchy comes is product manager, and the next hierarchy is a senior product manager. If at all you go next is an associate director of PM, ADPM जो मैंने लिखा था. If you next you go is a DPM, is a director PM. Then if you next you go is an AVP product, associate vice president product. The next you go is a VP product. The next you go is a CPO, or you are at a CXO level of the company. Okay, you are at a CXO level of the company, and then उसके बाद मतलब if at all you are there and you are still having 10 years 15 years in your career, then you can be someone as a CEO or someone. There are a lot of examples. One of the prominent examples you see is Satya Nadella. He started as a PM only. Other example is Sundar Pichai and all. They are all PMs of Google and all, and which they started with. There are interviews on YouTube where Sundar Pichai is giving a demo of a specific product, and Satya is giving a demo. Satya Nadella is giving a demo of a specific Microsoft product and all. They started as a product manager and they went up to the ladders to become CEO of the one of the world's most renowned companies. And you see this hierarchy is very less. But if you see the number of years in between, maybe a 1 or 2 years and or something like that across, which is across all the levels. I will say 1-2 saal mein you will see a difference. You can jump from one level to another level. That is why this role is very fascinating, or it's a very high-paced growth. That is why it is told a very high-paced growth career track as compared to something like a sales or a development trajectory or a QA trajectory or whatever trajectory you are into. This is a very high-paced trajectory, and the example is there. You go to LinkedIn, you will see so many CPOs, so many AVPs, so many folks are there. Like I was just trying to look for a book actually. So see, there is a very popular book on technical on this third round, technical and behavioral, which is called Tech Simplified for PMs. If at all Amazon is opening over here, I can show you. There is a very popular book called Tech Simplified. आप देखिए, ये देखिए Tech Simplified. Wait a second, I'll show you. Tech Simplified by Deepak Singh. He is a senior director product of Unacademy. He is hardly a 2012 or 2013 batch BTech grad. So kitna 9 years mein he has become a senior director, somewhere in between this place. Okay, senior director hai wo, senior director of Unacademy's entire product processes. So in a matter of 7 to 8 years, he has landscaped this much duration or this much journey. Tomorrow, now he has written a book also, which is a bestseller. Tomorrow he can easily join as a CPO or an AVP of product anywhere he wishes. I'm not faking it. If you wish, you can check the LinkedIn also. What I know is this: he is the author, Deepak Singh. He's a great person. You can follow him. He's online also, it seems. So if you check his career transaction, he is hardly 2008 to 2012 batch, chemical engineering, not computer science, but IIT Kharagpur, of course. But in a matter of such a small point, he has become a senior director from 2021, 1 year almost. Now he has become an entrepreneur. Okay, he has quit his job. I don't know if at all that is there or he is parallelly doing it, but he has become that. Now, this is the most important part of this particular deck, I'll say, and my favorite part to discuss also. So let's see how do we handle this. ये color थोड़ा गलत बैठ गया, ठीक है, हम do that. So first of all, I'll just quickly help you understand. There are nearly 7 categories of questions. Nearly 7 categories of questions which can be asked in a product interview. Okay. The first and the most popular type of category of question which is asked in a product interview is a product design question. So what happens in a product design question, guys? I'll tell you. There are again 3 subcategories. Let me quickly talk about the subcategories first of all, and then we'll understand the sample of questions. And these samples, मैं ये कुछ गोली नहीं दिया हूँ, कुछ फेंका नहीं हूँ. These are actual questions which were asked to me in actual interview rounds, and I've written which interview round it was asked to me. I can even write the panelist name who has asked me this question. He would be there on LinkedIn. You can check him. That person he is existing in blood and flesh or not. ठीक है? तो कुछ भी गोली नहीं है यहाँ पे. ठीक है? Actual cheese which has happened on the ground. So then my first round, this was asked to me by a PM, Amit Kumar. He is presently working as a lead PM in Delivery Hero in Germany, IIT Bombay grad. Design a food ecosystem. He simply asked me a simple question: design a food ecosystem. That's it. So how does it happen? Usually, one thing also, since you all are starters, you all should know. Usually all of these 5 rounds of interview which we talked about, the duration. If I have to add a duration column on the right, then the duration is usually of 1 hour. Mostly all interviews are of 1 hour or less. मे बी आप बोल सकते हो कि यार एचआर या कोई राउंड थोड़ा कम हो सकता है, ये 30 मिनट से 15 से 30 मिनट्स होगा, बट मोस्ट ऑफ the rounds are usually of 1 hour. So how do you spend that 1 hour? That is very difficult. 1 घंटे बोलना है, hardly 10 minutes consume होते हैं where the panelist will come and give his introduction, and maybe another 5 to 10 minutes where he will ask you your introduction. What have you done in your past? और particularly आप fresher हैं, तो आप क्या बोलेंगे? आप बोलेंगे हाँ, सब fresher ने एक चीज कर रखा होता है कि यार मैंने अपने कॉलेज के फेस्ट किए हैं, मैंने कॉलेज के फेस्ट में 5 लाख रुपए या 10 लाख रुपए की स्पॉन्सरशिप लाई है, मैं अपने कॉलेज का जनरल सेक्रेटरी हूँ, स्पोर्ट्स सेक्रेटरी हूँ, कल्चरल सेक्रेटरी हूँ, और मैं ये हूँ वो हूँ सब, मतलब कॉलेज के मैं प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर सब हूँ. मतलब डोंट टेक इट अदरवाइज. Every other guy of their college is that president or vice president of that cultural committee and organizes the fest, a fest which has 5 lakhs more footfall वगैरह वगैरह, वो जो ज्ञानबाजी चलता है. बट आपके पास कोई सब्सटेंशियल बात है नहीं बोलने के लिए फॉर दैट मैटर. यू हैवंट बिल्ट अ प्रोडक्ट और यू हैवंट डन एनीथिंग in that regard. तो उसका भी मैं आपको, I will maybe in this session or some other session, if at all we have some time, we can do on that. We can create a portfolio. I have a portfolio I can show you which you guys can also build. ठीक है. तो अभी but this is a question after a 10 minutes which is consumed in his intro and my intro, they directly, the PMs will jump into a question. Let's solve a case study, and they will ask you a question like this: design a food ecosystem. I had also cleared the interview for this company sixth. In round 2 I was asked this question: design a bicycle management company. Okay, I was asked by sixth. This is German based cab hailing, ride hailing company, मतलब Ola and Uber of Germany and lot of European companies, European countries. सोच लो, sixth बोल के company है. You can check on LinkedIn. ठीक है. So then these are these questions. Then I'll say these all come under the bigger umbrella of product design. But then product design question itself can be broken down into 3 subcategories. What are those 3 subcategories, guys? We have to understand that. ये आप समझेंगे तभी ये अप्रोच ले पाएंगे. भाई आपको 50 मिनट बात करना है, फूड इकोसिस्टम बनाना है. अगर आप ऐसे नहीं कि कुछ भी ज्ञानबाजी चल रहा है, आप गाना गा रहे हैं, मतलब आपकी बेशरम रंग ये वो गाना गा रहे हैं और 50 मिनट निकल गया एंड यू विल बी सिलेक्टेड इन द इंटरव्यू, वो नहीं होने वाला है. आपको पूरा सब्सटेंस पे टू द पॉइंट बात करना है. 50 मिनट्स ब्रेक डाउन करके प्रॉब्लम में आपको क्लैरिफिकेशंस क्वेश्चंस पूछने हैं, सेगमेंट्स आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं. आपको क्या सेगमेंट्स जो आइडेंटिफाई किए हैं उनके प्रॉब्लम्स क्या हैं, उनके प्रॉब्लम्स के रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या हैं, सब आपको करने हैं विद इन दैट मैटर ऑफ 50 मिनट्स. आपका ब्रेन उतना शार्प, उतना फास्ट चलना पड़ेगा. एंड यू हैव टू ट्रेन योरसेल्फ टू क्लियर दीस इंटरव्यूज, और एल्स यू कांट. I'll say there are geniuses, but there will be very few geniuses in some IITs or something who can claim to clear these interviews without even preparing. But I don't see, I am, or I will honestly say I will never ever, I will slap myself, but I will not say कि I haven't prepared for these interviews. I was thoroughly prepared. मतलब I would have completed maybe notebooks, 2-3 notebooks like these. Even till now when I appear for a product interview, I am almost one notebook gets completed in my preparation. Even after now, after sitting for 10 to 12 companies and clearing 6-7 companies. So think about your case, how much dedication and effort you have to put in. So this session is from an awareness perspective. जैसा ऐसा होता है, वैसा वैसा होता है. Maybe we can solve one question if the time permits, which I don't see it will, because it's a 1 hour session and you are not into a cohort course or something that you have paid us, and we can extend that by 1 hour. I'll have to ask Ayan maybe if he gives me 50 minutes extra or something on those lines. Okay, you people might be having other work and other responsibilities to do also. But then a product design question is again divided into 3 categories. One is a normal design question, normal product design question. What is a normal product design question? Something like the panelist will ask you a question about a product which is already existing in the market. You have to ask which is already existing, that particular product or product of that same genre is already existing in the market. You have to just get the right clarification questions and get those check boxes ticked. You have to ask the right clarification questions, and once वो clarification questions में वो उनसे सहमति मिल गया, you get that confirmation from that panelist, then you can go in a specific direction because you have already seen that product. When I was asked this question, design a food ecosystem, I asked the panelists a bunch of clarification questions. What do you mean by a food ecosystem? Something like there is a specific chain of restaurants who a specific chain of restaurants who want to deliver food in a specific city. ऐसा कुछ scene है? तो उन्होंने बोला no, we want to have all the restaurants listed. Then I told how many cities you want to launch. You want to launch in one city like a Bangalore. You want to launch in hundreds of cities, or maybe some pilot it in 5-6 cities. No, we'll just launch it in Bangalore. Then I told them, are there any specific customers you want to serve to in specific in a city? Bangalore in a city as a very big city, to specific customers who are like high earning customers or something, or everyone? No, everyone, starting from 100 rupees order to a 5,000 rupees order, we want to serve anything. Okay, then you want to have a platform which has n number of restaurants, and you want to serve to customers, all the customers across length and breadth of that city who are able to pay, and you will have online payments and all enabled on the platform, which he told yes. So essentially he wants me to think as a product manager of Swiggy or a Zomato. He asked me a question, just design a food ecosystem which is very similar to that of a Swiggy or a Zomato, but we are piloting it in a specific geography. तो इसी कुछ bunch of clarification questions को लेके अगर सोचो उन्होंने बोला होता कि no, we want to have a Domino's का food delivery system. We don't want n number of restaurants listed. ठीक है? अगर आप बोल रहे Swiggy और Zomato बनाना है, so then the next thing which comes to my mind is how many segments or how many customers or users are involved in this particular product. There are 3 users. One is the customer who is actually making the orders. Second is the restaurants who are preparing the orders and dispatching the orders. Third is the delivery agent who are actually picking up the order, or who is a conduit between the restaurants and the customer. But अगर सोचो एक Domino's के लिए बनाना रहता, तो मे बी डिलीवरी एजेंट का रोल या डिलीवरी एजेंट के लिए कोई सॉफ्टवेयर सॉल्यूशन हमको चाहिए नहीं रहता था, because the Domino's receive the orders and there are delivery guys sitting in Domino's. They know where to deliver it. They just pick it up and deliver it over here. They don't have a delivery app per se, or that is not highly functional. Maybe अगर उन्होंने 3-4 order उठा रखे, उनको पता है, they already have a milk run. They know what is at point A, point B, point C, point D. They just go and drop it in point A, point B, point C, point D and come back. That is what it happens in Domino's का case. It is not like कि Swiggy वाला क्या करता है, वो point A वाले restaurant से pick up करता है, point B वाले घर में drop करता है. Then he receives another order, and for that he goes to the point C restaurant and delivers it in the location of point D. Then he receives another order, then he goes to point E, from point D to point F. There is no coming back. Once he starts his day, he might be confined in a specific polygon or a specific geographical area of the city, but it is not coming. वो कभी वापस नहीं आता रेस्टोरेंट को. वो एक से दूसरा, एक रेस्टोरेंट से दूसरा घर, दूसरे घर से तीसरा रेस्टोरेंट, तीसरे रेस्टोरेंट से चौथा घर, वैसे चलते रहता है. मिल्क रन क्या होता है? मिल्क रन क्या होता है? सुबह जब मिल्क लेने आता है हमारा दूध वाला, पुराने आजकल तो हम पैकेट की दूध खरीद लेते हैं सर, आप बोल सकते हो, बट इन द केस assume that when that guy who used to come in cycles in our parents' home, that guy comes, he knows what is my point A, point B, point C, point D, point E, और उसके घर में गाय है, वो जिसका उसका पहला पॉइंट ए है, वहां से गाय से दूध निकालता है 5 लीटर, फिर बी सी डी ई एफ, उसको पता है हर एक के घर में ऑप्टिमाइज करके रूट वो चले जाता है, दे दे के चले आता है, फिर वापस आ जाता है. तो उसमें कोई डिलीवरी ऐप की जरूरत नहीं है. मैंने पहले लेवल पे वो क्लैरिफिकेशन ले लिया कि भाई आप क्या करना चाहते हो, स्विगी जैसा करना चाहते हो, डोमिनोज जैसा करना चाहते हो, एक बार वो पता चल गया. तो क्वेश्चन वाज वेरी सिंपल, एंड हेंस आई कॉल दिस एज अ नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज these products are already existing in the market. Products are existing in the market. So these are somewhat simpler to handle, somewhat simple to handle, I will say. Easy question है, पर easy नहीं है. For that matter, someone who is starting. This question was asked to me almost 4 years back. तब I was new into product management. My first interview, handling it for 50 minutes itself is a very tough job. So फिर भी is relatively easy as compared to other questions which are being asked. Now there is a second category. This is covered now.
Now there's a second category of, rather ये point C पढ़िए उसके बाद B में चलते हैं. Second category of product design questions, where the question will be dedicated to a normal product, but the cohort of users will be very new. For example, the question will be in the sense, they will say, design a Spotify for blind or a Ghana for a blind. Okay, what is over here? Spotify or Ghana, most of us would have used a Spotify or a Ghana or a Wink, something like a music streaming app, or a YouTube Music or an Amazon Music or something. I'm just meaning that, but you would have definitely used. But if you want to build this specific app for a cohort of users who are blind, typically blind, then the entire context changes. Then the entire context of this particular application changes. You have to introduce definitely very specific must-have features for the blind audience, or else this product will not work. Do you expect कि आज Spotify जैसा है या गाना जैसा है will hand it over to a blind person? Will he be able to navigate, play songs, increase the volume, create a playlist, or pause a song, navigate to the next song, move to the previous song, or search for a song? ये सब capabilities एक blind person कर सकता है क्या आज के डेट में Spotify में? If at all, if there is a second type of question which can be asked, that is a normal product for a new cohort. Design a banking app for senior citizens. This is again also, this was asked to one of my friends from Ola, Amit Bhati, and hence I wrote his name, Amit. So this, but this again falls in this NN category, normal product for a new cohort. When you build a banking app, you will say that yes, I'll build it for young kids and all normal people. But if at all you're building it for senior citizens, then they have their own set of problems. Senior citizens, I use a Axis ka banking app, and someone who is at a 65 using a Axis or a Bank of India or a SBI's banking app is a very different cohort. They have been used to go to banks to make their withdrawal and transactions and everything in banks itself. They don't know how to use an app. On top of it, they might be having some eye related issues, certain confidence related issues, and a lot of other issues which come with their age group. And hence, how do you build a banking app which is traditionally catering to these senior citizens? This is again an example of a normal product for a new cohort. Okay. What is there? Design Uber for blind. This is again a very popular question, very popular. Star ऐसे होता है ना, मतलब आप जब यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जाम्स में देते हैं, you more or less you are in the 6th semester or 7th semester, और आपने एक कोर्स है आपका, आपको पता चल जाता है वो सेमेस्टर खत्म होने तक कि यार कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, मतलब विच इज अ वेरी पॉपुलर क्वेश्चन. तो अगर नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट फॉर अ न्यू कोहोर्ट की क्वेश्चन की आप वो बात करें, जो सबसे बड़ा एग्जांपल है, उबर फॉर ब्लाइंड इज वन सच एग्जांपल व्हिच इज वन लाइक अ नॉर्थ स्टार, मतलब एक बहुत ही पॉपुलर एग्जांपल ऑफ क्वेश्चन है व्हिच इज ऑफ नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट फॉर अ न्यू कोहोर्ट. ये पूछा जाता है. I was asked this question by someone who is a SPM or a director level PM at Walmart now. He was at Ola at that point of time. Design a camera for senior citizens. He asked me this question. This again falls under this category of normal product for new cohort. Okay. Now, then there can be a thought experiment question, which again falls under the category of product design. What is a thought experiment? You will say that this cannot be a product. अभी तक आप जो बोल रहे थे, food ecosystem, bicycle management company, Spotify, banking app, Uber, camera, these are all existing products, correct? ये हैं वर्ल्ड में, हम यूज करते हैं. यहाँ पे थोड़ा कोहोर्ट नया कर दिया और यहाँ पे पूरा बकायदा वही बनाने के लिए बोल दिया. But there can be situations where a PM or an SPM in the first round or the second round is asking you a product design question, where he tells you design a bookshelf for kids. It was asked to me in Intuit round one. Design this again. ये बोल सकते हो ये thought experiment नहीं है, rather NN में आएगा. Bookshelf is an existing product, but you have to build it for kids. Now next is design a digital mirror. This was asked to me by the CPO of Monster in the last round. Design a digital product, digital mirror. मतलब यार मिरर तो मिरर है, मिरर तो एक फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट है जिसको आप देखते हो, कंघी करते हो या फिर पाउडर लगा लेते हो या कुछ लड़कियां मेकअप करती है मे बी, ऐसा वैसा. अब डिजाइन अ डिजिटल मिरर क्या होता है? तो बट इवन व्हेन समवन आस्क्स यू सच अ पेक्यूलियर क्वेश्चन, यू सिंपली नॉट से कि सर आपका क्वेश्चन सड़ा है, मैं आपको कंपनी में आऊंगा नहीं. ठीक है, you cannot say that, rather you will have to answer it. And there is definitely, when there is a problem, there is always a solution. Don't be worried. I'm just talking about the product category, subcategory, and a few sample of questions over here. But how to approach these category of questions or these subcategory of questions is a different ball game altogether. We will look into it later. Okay. Now, this is how we cover the first category of questions, where I have divided into three subcategories, and then the certain sample questions which have been asked to me or my close set of PM friends in different companies during their interviews. Okay. And there are two subcategories of matrix related questions, RCA and success matrix related questions, which are usually asked in interviews. Then there is a product strategy question, which I've already discussed. There can be two subcategories again, and bunch of sample questions also attached. Then there is a very popular category of question called product improvement, where one of the most popular question for an fresher comes up, that is, what is your favorite product, why is it your favorite product, and the scope of improvement in it. For example, for a very long time, Swiggy was my favorite product. I used to point out why is it my favorite and what all things I feel could be improved in Swiggy in terms of their production level bugs, and also in terms of new categories or new features which can be introduced in Swiggy. Okay. Then also there can be questions on a specific product or a product feature and what could be improved in it. Okay. These are all comes under the bucket of product improvement, and these are the bunch of sample questions I have collated from my different interviews. Then there can be a very fresher centric question. I have been fortunate enough, I have never been asked this question in my product interview career, of market sizing or guesstimate, and hence I've also written it down. Usually asked to product analyst and APM level candidates, that is, they will ask you a guesstimate question: number of UPI transactions in India, number of iPhones sold in India. This in itself is a dedicated class of 1 hour or so, or even more than that. Like, I'll say each of these line items is a class of 1 hour or so, which we try to cover, but unfortunately we cannot. I'm just quickly running through it. Then there can be technical questions. This can be a topic of a next thing. Technical questions required for a product manager, technical track for product manager. Essentially, this is the level of understanding they want you to have. Like, what is the tech stack? How does system design happen? How does the backend and front end interact? What do you understand by API? What do you understand by cloud computing? What do you understand by database? What do you understand by ML? क्योंकि हर कोई तो कुछ भी बात चलता है, AI ML तो ऐसे फेंकते हैं हर कोई इंग्लिश में. Whenever you see a leader or a manager talking, it seems कि हर जगह में AI ML लगा हुआ है. पर क्या है एक्चुअली वो में इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे होता है, कौन करता है, क्या होता है वो चीज, वो हमको जानना है. बस ये बड़ी बड़ी फेंकने नहीं है हमको कोई बातचीत में. ठीक है. तो ये चीजों के लिए भी ये दिस इज अ ट्रैक व्हिच इज यूजुअली आस्क्ड इन दिस थर्ड राउंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई टोल्ड यू. ठीक है. Third round of question in this technical and behavioral. Then there can be behavioral questions, where there can be conflict related questions, and PM behavioral questions, where how did you handle a situation of conflict with engineering manager. Like, I'll tell you, every other day a PM has a conflict with the engineering manager, and you have to prioritize and come up with a solution. So how do you handle such conflicts so that relationships are long lasting? Eventually the engineering manager also gets a sense of belief and a sense of happiness of whatever he is building. How do you handle such situation? There can be situations of conflict with the business, where you feel that a certain feature should be built, but then business has a different point of view. How do you convince them? Because as a PM, in a longer run, your major responsibilities are around convincing people, bringing that level of clarity, removing that ambiguity, and then making things progress in a fast-paced manner. Things should not slow down. You should move things, build new features every sprint. Okay. There can be questions around, but since you are working in this domain of product, it can be situation that you goofed up in a release. The release didn't go as per plan because of your mistake. How did you handle it? There are a lot of also major KPIs of this is not a very fresher related question, since you don't have any product experience. I'll say, how will you say that what are the major KPIs or the matrices you are tracking for your product? More or less, it will be a more mature related question for someone like me who has already have some product experience, but not a very fresher related question. Okay. So these are the 7 major categories. Then I have jotted down the subcategories over here, and then the sample questions. But इसमें ये scope खत्म नहीं होता है. दिस इज, अगर आपको ये कैटेगरी सोचिए कि प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन पता चल गया, सब कैटेगरी पता चल गया और सैंपल क्वेश्चन पता चल गया, तो क्या हो गया, आप कल आप एक इंटरव्यू में बैठ गए यहाँ पे जो आए हुए थे, and then you get a question like design a chatbot for a video conferencing platform or Jio, or maybe design a Gaana or a Spotify for a client, or design a food ecosystem. आपको लगा रे वाह, सौरभ मिश्रा ने वो सेशन में बताया था, सेम के सेम क्वेश्चन मुझे पूछ लिया। अरे भाई आपको आंसर तो नहीं पता है अभी तक, आपको आप तो दिस इज अ प्योर डार्क world for you of product interviews and all. I just told you what are the different categories of questions, subcategories, and the samples of the questions. Product design questions, you have to attune your mind or train your mind in a way that are always using the circles framework. In circles, C stands for clarification questions. I stands for you have to identify the user groups who would be using this product. Then how do you identify the user groups? Also, there is a downstream method to it, that will have to use a supply demand collaborators approach, where आपको सोचना पड़ेगा, फॉर एग्जांपल स्विगी वाला एग्जांपल ले लो, फूड इकोसिस्टम का डिमांड कहां से आता है, कस्टमर से आता है। यहाँ पे डिमांड यूजर ग्रुप कौन है, इट इज कस्टमर। सप्लाई यूजर ग्रुप कौन है, रेस्टोरेंट। कोलैबोरेटर यूजर ग्रुप कौन है, डिलीवरी गाइस, बिकॉज दे आर कोलैबोरेटिंग बिटवीन द सप्लाई एंड द डिमांड यूजर ग्रुप टू डिलीवर द फूड। For every product, you will can find a supply and a demand user group definitely. There cannot be no product where you can say कि सर इसमें तो कोई सप्लाई डिमांड है ही नहीं, ये तो ऐसे ही चल रहा है हवा में, ठीक है। सप्लाई है, डिमांड है, उसके बीच में ही पैसा बनता है, नहीं तो कोई प्रोडक्ट ऐसे हवा में बन के नहीं, मतलब मार्केट में नहीं है, ठीक है। फिर once you identify the user groups, what are their problems, what are their problems, you have to identify. Based on whatever their problems are, you will have to identify what requirements can be built. After you have a laundry list of requirements for these three user groups, supply, demand, and collaborator, then you will have to prioritize it, because you see product teams come with a very big bunch of constraints, technical limitations, resource constraints, infrastructural constraints, lot of constraints are there. ऐसे नहीं कि 100 जन टेक्निकली काम कर रहे हैं आपके लिए, आप कुछ भी एक रिक्वायरमेंट दे दिए, बना देंगे अगले दिन और आप बैठे हैं ओके कर देंगे, ऐसे काम नहीं होता है। धीरे धीरे बनते हैं रिक्वायरमेंट्स, and based on your technical capabilities, technical resourcing and all these things. So you will have to prioritize. Prioritize is one of the very important attributes of a product manager. आपको देखना है कि which is that biggest problem you want to solve first, and then there are multiple methods of identifying which is that biggest problem, which has the highest impact or the lower effort or what is it, and then you have to solve for it. Then once you have picked up the right problems and you are solving it, then after you have launched it in the market, then you have to analyze that particular feature. How is it performing? You might have built a feature, आपको लगा, डेवलपर्स को लगा, बिजनेस को लगा, मजा आ जाएगा बनाने में, पर जब मार्केट में उतरा पता चले यार कोई यूज ही नहीं कर रहा है, कुछ फायदा ही नहीं है इसका, क्योंकि कस्टमर इज द इवेंचुअल किंग. Customer will say, thousands of customers, millions of customers who are there on the platform, they can only say whether they like it or not like it. And there are product managers of Google also who could not predict that whether their product will be a success or a failure. And that is the reason they say Google has a graveyard of failed products. Google Plus, matlab at that point of time when it was launched, it had features much more superior to that of Facebook, but it didn't work out. It failed. The product entirely failed. कोई एक product का feature fail नहीं हुआ. Total Google Plus ही fail हो गया और वो बंद हो गया. तो what their product bunch of, मतलब सोचो Google के PM, कोई मजाक नहीं है Google में पाना, वहाँ पे PM होना, but entire team of PMs working for a specific product. Every PM will work for a smaller product objective, and cumulatively that will be a bigger product. Every one of them failed and the product failed. ठीक है? तो ऐसा भी होता है. Then eventually you have to summarize. So eventually you have to summarize, and then to identify what are the estimation, how do you do the evaluation rather than estimation, rather than write the word evaluation. There is again a matrix associated with this that is called AA triple R. A stands for acquisition, second A stands for adoption, R stands for retention, second R stands for revenue, and the final R stands for referral. How can we so ye Kanupriya has a question. How can we figure out that product is a right fit for us? Are there any pointer? What do you exactly mean product is a right fit? You want to say that product management is a right career option for us? When you say it's a right fit for us, are there any pointers from your side? You see, that is a very personal calling, I will say. How would I be able to make a call on whether product management is a right career option for you or not? Because I really don't know what is your graduation, what is your post graduation, how many years of experience you have, and this is a calling, this is a pure calling. Okay, I was not into product till 3 years back, then like 3 to 4 years back, but then I realized ki I was primarily into IT consulting. So but then I realized ki whatever work I am doing, the impact I am not able to see. I'm doing it for some US client, some UK client, प्रोडक्ट उनका है, हम इंडिया से काम करते हैं, उनके यहाँ पे कुछ फीचर बन रहे हैं, we are not able to understand what is the impact of the feature we have built, whether it is successful, whether it is not successful, whether it is working, not working. Every time they will come back and say, no, this is not working, maybe build a new feature. That is what we don't have any data or anything to substantiate on that. Now hence I thought, why to work for such build products for such global clients, rather build it for India and then also understand, by see people using it and then make incremental changes on top of it. That was the reason I switched my career from IT consulting to product. What is your situation? Why would you need the urge and all? That is very typical to you. You can only take a calling, and I won't be able to help you in that to an extent. Or maybe we have to connect one to one, maybe where you can ask me your specific situation or something, that sir, I want to join, but these are the situation which is holding me back. Maybe you see Saroj has joined. She was one of my students in one of my cohorts. She is into product marketing. She's a very good person. You can connect with her also. Like, to understand ki she is already in one particular domain and she is now moving into product. What are those triggers which has motivated her to move from product marketing to product? And she has considerable amount of experience, 6 years of experience, what I remember, and still she wants to make a transition. What is that calling? Then maybe you can compare it with yours and all, and then maybe think ki yaar ye karna chahiye ki nahi karna chahiye. But if at all you're in a campus just starting, I will say anything is fine. Okay. Spurs has a question. Hey, hi Spurs. What if we are not that technically great? How to prepare? I'm telling you, Spurs. I know you also. You to introduce people. Spurs was one of my UX guys. We have worked together at Deloitte. So thanks Spurs for joining. So I think, having worked in Deloitte and whatever experience you have the. So yes. Okay. ठीक है. So so I think you have this I told you, no, I have shown you that, I have given a clue in the meeting itself, in the discussion itself. There are a lot of materials, lot of books already there in the market where you can develop that basic level of technical expertise to become a PM. To be very honestly said, I have spent a lot of times in this, lot of time or considerable amount of experience in this domain. I wouldn't say I'm a veteran or an industry expert, but at least 5 to 6 years of experience now. And it's my background is also non-technical. I'm from a BTech background, but BTech biotechnology, not a computer science or an IT. But still, I found that I could take it up. Okay, I didn't find it's very difficult or ऐसा आपको क्योंकि coding नहीं करना है. I'm trying to say it again and again. But technically, you should be able to understand. You should be able to explain a senior developer. You on day in and day out, you have to spend time with people who are 10 years and 15 years of development experience. तो आपको basic आप achieve क्या करना चाहते हैं technically, that you should be clear with. ठीक है, पर आपको coding नहीं करनी है. Time and again I am saying it. And how to explain this, maybe I will have to take a session. We can have a dedicated session. I will talk with my guys over here. You people, if at all you promise to join again, I can have a session ki how much technical knowledge is required to be a PM. I can give you a lot of use cases of the products I have built for Zuno or maybe Ola Electric. I have posted on my LinkedIn also multiple things of database level things and all these things. You can check it out and you can say कि यार इसमें technical क्या है, ये तो हम भी समझ के बना सकते थे. But concept clear रखना है कि क्या बनना चाहता है, उस पे क्या backend में क्या fields रहेंगी, क्या tables रहेंगी, कौन सा table किसके साथ interact करेगा, उसकी वजह से front end में क्या होगा, वो चीजें आपको clear करनी पड़ेगी. So any open questions? I'm open to questions now since I have run out of time. I've shared the link. Then next is Chandan has a question. How to identify the right problem for B2B products? Chandan, I want to be a bit more specific. For example, usually in interviews and all, they would usually not ask you very B2B specific problems, or even if it's a B2B company, they will ask you a very user centric problem. मतलब अभी B2B problem को आप कैसे solve करेंगे in an interview? It's very difficult if at all you're thinking from that sense. पहले आप basic समझो, फिर वहाँ पे चलेंगे हम लोग. That is what I will recommend you. Good evening, sir. Would you say that product management requires a firm grip on design and related technology, including? No. I would strongly say document link not visible. What do you mean by that not visible? I have given viewer access to everyone. I'm again re-pinging it. Yes, there was a good question actually from Sujay. I'll say Sujay, see, there is a lot of content on YouTube. If you want, really interested, reach out to Ayan, reach out to Zuno team. We can have multiple of these sessions curated where we can talk about product management, spend a lot of time together and all these things. Okay. But I wouldn't say a firm grip is required on technical and UI, because there would be technical folks working, dedicated developers. There will be dedicated UI UX folks working. You need to be that master of all trades. You need to understand kitna chahiye, that level of understanding which can bring clarity to everyone. I wouldn't say कि आप एक full fledged coder बनोगे, उसमें 5 साल coding करोगे, एक full fledged UI UX designer बनोगे, उसमें 5 साल UI UX करोगे, फिर 10 साल करियर का खत्म हो गया, फिर आप प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनोगे. ऐसा होते तो पीएम बनने के लिए पहले तो सबका 15 साल का तो एक्सपीरियंस पहले चाहिए रहता है, डेवलपर का, क्यूए का, फिर डेटा वाले का, फिर यूआई यूएक्स वाले का. हाउ नाउ example I showed you on LinkedIn, within 10 years of his career he has become a senior director product. How is it that? So you don't need to have a firm grip, but you need to have a clear grip, clear idea. What is that you are solving? What is that you want to do? Okay. Hey, hi Aditi. Aditi is a very close friend, close developer's sister, I feel. Which are the important metrics to cover? To change the Zoom chat settings. Hey, Ayan, what is this problem of Zoom chat set? So, guys, I'm not doing. Aditya, I'll come to your question. I'm not doing a personal publicity, but even if you find it difficult, you can find my LinkedIn profile and all. I have posted this particular in my first post, and also I have the document link attached over here also. Okay. So I don't know what is the problem. I'll ask Ayan to fix it and send it across to you again. He has fixed it, it seems. So that is what it is. Okay. But Aditi has a question, which are the important. So Aditi, you are a developer, what I understand. So when you say which are the important metrics, you see everything is at that specific phase. For example, the product I'm looking now, Zuno, it's a non-revenue generating product. We don't ask the recruiters to pay money to us to post jobs or something. We don't ask money to seekers to have subscription on the platform. We are saying come free of cost, apply to jobs, apply to internships, get into jobs, get into internships, and just leverage the platform to the fullest and get a good brand. And we create a loyalty in the students. As of now, we don't have any revenue generating thing in Zuno as of now, neither for the seekers nor for the recruiters. So as of now, the key matrices for us, for me, for my developers, for my entire team is acquisition and adoption of the platform. But you cannot say that. तो आपको मेरे इस Zuno के context में the biggest launched 6 to 7 months back. We want 3 million customers or 30 lakh students or seekers to come to the platform by a year's time. So that is why the biggest North Star matrix for Zuno as of now is customer acquisition or customer growth. And then the customers we have acquired, we don't want to acquire junk customers. Rather, we want to acquire students or seekers who come onto the platform, apply for jobs, apply for internships, do internships. We are building a lot of capabilities around it. On the recruiter side, we want to acquire recruiters who are genuine recruiters who come and post genuine jobs and genuine opportunities. That is what we want. Okay. But someone like a Netflix, who is a product manager on Netflix, they cannot rely on acquisition. उनके तो लाखों लाखों करोड़ों करोड़ों कस्टमर प्लेटफॉर्म में बैठे हुए हैं एक्सेस लेके, बट उनका पूरा फोकस रहता है रेवेन्यू पे, मोनेटाइजेशन पे. तो फॉर देम देयर की मेट्रिसेस आर revenue and monetization. That is in AA, triple R, that is the second R. But then there are platforms, for example, a Facebook, which does not charge money but gets a lot of money because of advertisement and marketing and all these things on Facebook for business. They might have very serious matrices around retention on a daily basis. What is how much hours or how much minutes someone comes onto the platform, and spend time on the platform from a retention standpoint. So to answer your question, which are the important metrics to cover, the matrix depends on the company as well as the stage of the company. Okay, for example, tomorrow on Zuno we acquire 3 million customers and we start a bunch of courses. If you look into one of our competitors platform who are also catering to the TG of young students, undergraduates and just fresh graduates having internships and fresher jobs, they have a chunk of their revenue built out of their courses. They provide courses on this UI, UX, software development, data analytics, ABC, and all these things. So they make a lot of revenue out of that. They have also monetized the recruiter platform. They tell the recruiters that we will give you ABC capabilities if you pay us for a job posting, and you can make N number of job postings in a specific duration if you pay us this much, or else we will not allow you to post a job. So tomorrow we can monetize. Revenue will become a key matrix once we move into that phase. So the matrix which is important depends on which is the company you are working for, and the phase at which the company or the product you are working for, and the phase at which the product is at that point of time. You understand? I hope you understand. Chandan is asking a question now. As you gave example of North Star matrix, just wanted to understand difference between. Yes, see, you to very simply said, Chandan, we have 2 more minutes, so this might be the last question, something else comes up. You see, when compass was not invented, when ये जब Vasco da Gama और जो बड़े-बड़े explorer थे दुनिया के, discoverer थे, जो वो शिप चलाते थे, उनको कोई फंड करता था और वो शिप चला के जाते थे कि हम खोज देंगे. जैसे वो बोलते हैं ना, वास्को डे गामा या किसने इंडिया को खोजा, किसने अमेरिका को खोजा, मतलब मुझे नहीं पता किसने इंडिया को, वास्को डे गामा ने शायद अमेरिका को खोजा या कुछ, या किसने कुछ खोजा, वॉशिंगटन ने कुछ खोजा, ऐसा वैसा. तो ये जो शिप में जाके खोजते थे, ऐसे तो नहीं कि यार इंडिया को जिसने खोजा उसके पहले तो इंडिया पूरा सपाट जमीन था, उसने खोजा उसके बाद बन गया वो, ऐसे तो नहीं था ना. तो वो तो शिप में निकला था एंड ही एनकाउंटर्ड लैंड एंड अ सिविलाइजेशन एग्जिस्टिंग ओवर देयर. तो ये लोग जब शिप में जाते थे तब इनको शोर कैसा मिलता था? शोर मतलब वेयर डिड दैट शिप वुड लैंड एट. So they didn't have a compass at that point of time. They used to look at a star. एक स्टार देखते थे and that star used to guide them towards the shore. मतलब वो आप नॉर्थ स्टार का कॉन्सेप्ट देखिए विकिपीडिया में, that is what it is. A North Star is a star which helps you to go towards the shore when you are in a ship in an ocean. ठीक है? तो North Star matrix is that singular matrix where entire team, the product, engineering, business, marketing, when I say marketing, that is marketing, and the strategy level team, everyone is aligned. We want to do this. So everyone is aligned on that specific fact. For example, on Zuno, acquisition is that one thing which we want to do. From a product perspective, we are introducing features where acquisition will be high. From a product marketing or a marketing team perspective, they are doing campaigns, they are doing these webinars and all these things so that you people can come, get some benefit out of it, get some tangible benefit, express the benefit to your college students, to your friends, to your relatives. They also come and explore the platform and the acquisition number goes up. From a product marketing perspective, they would be running N number of campaigns on Google, Facebook, and doing performance marketing campaigns where new users could discover the platform and they can sign up. Then from the program perspective, we have campus ambassadors across different campuses where they help to refer the platform to new students where they come up onto the platform. Essay, when the entire business, entire product, entire all the domains or all the business functions have one singular matrix which they want to solve or they are focusing on in a specific quarter, that specific matrix is called the North Star matrix. Yes, you are correct. if at all you have definitely understood right, that is a vision for the entire team, irrespective of whether you are product, whether you are development, whether you are QA, whether you are product marketing, whether you are program. The entire team is focusing on one line, that is the North Star matrix. Yes, so I think we have exceeded by 16 minutes, and I have got pings from Ayan also that we have to wind up the session. Lovely talking with you guys. A lot of lovely questions, and I've also shared the document. Maybe if you want, we can have an extension session some point of time in future where we can also deep dive into the other, maybe solve a specific question or something on those lines. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Saurav, for this amazing webinar on how to get into product management roles. And I hope everyone got a clarity on how to pursue their roles as a future PM. Thanks again, Saurav, for this, and have a lovely day ahead. Okay.
Thank you guys. Thanks.